Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky here from the Onside Kick, here to give you my thoughts and opinions on the Jim Irsay versus Peyton Manning. It's Peyton's homecoming this week on Sunday Night Football. What's going to happen, and what does Jim Irsay do? After saying, hey, we're going to have a great tribute to Peyton, we're going to love to have him home again, what is he doing? He's saying the most idiotic thing that an owner can say, and yes, I know that Jerry Jones is a GM slash owner, so this is more idiotic than Jerry Jones. But what Irsay said, and I quote, "You make the playoffs 11 times, and you're out in the first round 7 out of the 11. You love to have the Star Wars numbers from Peyton and Marvin and Reggie. Mostly, you love this," and he points to a Super Bowl ring. And when he was talking about Marvin and Reggie, he's talking about Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. But I feel like, in kind of to combat this, John Fox, coach of Denver, came out and said, yeah, you know what? You should be happy with that one Super Bowl ring. Kind of basically saying, hey, Jim, I'd like that ring if you're complaining about it, type of thing. But when we get down to this, Jim, why do you have to open your mouth? I mean, why do you have to say stuff like this? Of course, Peyton Manning, beloved in Indy. It's not a Brett Favre thing where he left Indy, went to Denver, and the Indianapolis Colts hated him. It's Indy still loves him. He's still in the national eye, still has the popularity. He's a great quarterback, and the way I see it is this boils down to, and what I think Jim was kind of saying with his words indirectly was, I'm measuring success with Super Bowls, and that's a total owner way to think about it. I have a team, our goal is to win the Super Bowl. But when it comes to a player, you can be successful and not win Super Bowls. Look at Tom Brady. He's won his Super Bowls. Look at Steve Young. We talk about him. Super Bowls. John Elway. Super Bowls. Dan Marino. When we talk about Dan Marino's success, we don't talk about Super Bowls because this is how many he has. Peyton has one, but with Peyton, it's kind of treading the line. Yes, he had a Super Bowl win over the Chicago Bears, but I mean, he still hasn't done the same thing. Like, if you compared the Super Bowl wins between Tom and Peyton, you're going to take Tom because he has the more Super Bowl wins, but the numbers and how he plays still should play into what kind of a quarterback he is. That's why I obviously, hands down, Peyton is a great quarterback. But I went in and dove into the numbers, and I'm going to leave everything I'm talking about, ESPN stories, these stats of Peyton's playoff numbers, all that's going to be down below so you can see what I am talking about. But I kind of dove into the numbers a little bit. And of the 7 times that the Colts were knocked out in the first round, I basically went and said, why? Why did this happen? I wanted to know if it was Peyton's fault or if it was maybe something that you could have done different there, Jim. And the first one, the 1999 season, they lose to the Titans 19-16. Peyton throws for 227 yards, no touchdowns, no INTs, has 1 rushing touchdown. On the other hand, though, Edgerrin James touches the ball 20 times, only rushes for 56 yards and no scores. On the other side, you have arguably one of the best running backs of all time, Eddie George, 26 carries, 162 yards, and a score. Boom, right there. This is going to be a trend that I'm going to set up. You got to have a run game to set up your passing game. Colts lose by 3. Then the next year, they're playing the Dolphins in the playoffs. Their first playoff game. This one's in Miami. Peyton goes out there. He throws for 194 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Edgerrin James does what he has to do. 21 carries, 107 yards. But still, the Dolphins win in overtime by 6 points. And looking at them, they had their quarterback, Jay Fiedler, but Lamar Smith, 40 carries, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. They were outrushed again. They lost in their first playoff game. Then we jump to 2002. They play the Jets in New York, their first playoff game of that year. They get demolished 41-0. Peyton throws no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You have James with only 9 carries for 14 yards. You have Mungro for 4 carries, 36 yards. He was their leading rusher. But then on the other side, you have Lamont Jordan, the running back for the Jets, 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's, to me, that's a huge stat if teams are consistently outrunning you. Then the next time, jump into 2005, they're playing the Steelers. This is a game where they yet again lost by 3 points. Edgerrin James, 56 yards. This time, Willie Parker and the bus Jerome Bettis combined for Parker at 59. The bus had 46 and a score. You get outrushed again. Peyton Manning, another great game here. 10 yards shy of 300. A touchdown, no interceptions. They still lose by 3 to Big Ben and the Steelers. Then we jump again. This time, the next two actually. 07 to 08, both of these games are to the Chargers, both losses. And what do we have? We have Darren Sproles, LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, all putting in rushing performances, getting the yards done so Rivers can have 3 passing touchdowns. Peyton Manning, yeah, he threw 2 interceptions compared to 3 touchdowns. But look at Joseph Addai, only 43 yards on 13 carries. Didn't have a strong run game. Lost the first one. Then the second one against the Chargers. Darren Sproles for the Chargers, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Peyton's run game, Joseph Addai, 16 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown. Peyton had 310 yards and a score, but he had no interceptions. Another good game out of. If you looked at that stat line from your quarterback, you would say, okay, that's a good game. And the very last one came in 2010 against Rex Ryan and his Jets. A 1-point loss for Peyton Manning and the Colts. Peyton Manning, 225 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Mark Sanchez, he basically, he threw for 189 yards, but he had an interception, no touchdown. They looked like they were going to win the game, but the Jets had what the Colts didn't. Yes, Addai ran for 60 yards, but no scores. You had LT for the Jets there. 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, what? And then Sean Green tacking on 70 yards of his own. Another outrushing. They got outrushed again, and the Colts lose. So, I mean, I'm looking at this playoffs from Peyton Manning with the Colts over his career, and I'm questioning, was it really the times you were knocked out in the first playoff game? Was it really because of Peyton? Or was it because you didn't have a good enough run game and you played teams? You played guys. I mentioned guys like Eddie George, LT twice, Darren Sproles when he was on the Chargers, just to name a few. Lamar Smith, where people might be going, who's Lamar Smith? But he had 200 yards against the Colts. That's what I'm saying. It was a team effort. Peyton couldn't do it on his own. Look at what happened this past, or I should say last postseason. The Baltimore Ravens went and won the Super Bowl. How? Because of a missed coverage by the Denver secondary. Had nothing to do with Peyton, but he lost in his first playoff game last year. So, I mean, you can't put these, what Jim Irsay is saying is these 7 out of 11 times getting knocked out in the first round. You can't put it all on Peyton. It wasn't all Peyton's fault. The only thing I would kind of put on Peyton is when you go and play New England and you only get 3 points. How is that possible? But that was it. That was an AFC Championship game. That wasn't getting knocked out in the first round. So that's why I didn't mention it here. But that's what I think. I think Jim Irsay is stupid. I think these comments are stupid. I think that Peyton did so much for your city and your team. You should just be happy with that one Super Bowl. But, guys, this is where I'm going to pose the question to you guys. Based off of the stats, based off of what has been said. 2-part question. 1, what do you think of the Jim Irsay comments? And 2, how do you think this Peyton homecoming Sunday night football game, Andrew Luck versus Peyton Manning, is going to go down on Sunday? I would love reading the comments. I love responding to you guys. And just as always, Leave those comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/the onside kick. Send us a few tweets at onside kick real. And as always, have a good day, everybody.